All right. Thank you for tuning in to the OSA podcast, Ocean State Athlete Podcast, presented by SFBN-RI. I'm Nico Minelli. There's my co-host and good friend, Chris Carbone Jr. We are here to showcase some of the state's best athletes on and off the field and a little bit about their insight about the game that they love. So we're back after a long week of playoff hockey. Took a short break last week. Chris, catch us up here.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why we weren't able to come here last Thursday night is because we had to record and produce a bunch of great hockey games over Division I and Division II, working with SFBN, RI, and NFHS with the RIIL. Was a great experience, but it's not over. We still got games tomorrow night, Saturday, and then possible game threes. We got Cranston West taking on North Kingston, and then we got Hendricken and Mount St. Charles over for the D1 side of things.
Yeah, of course. Starting the most important week of the season's coming up, and got some new teams in there. I'm sure they're all pumped and excited to get out there. I know our Falcons are ready to get out there, but yeah, should be a great set of games.
100%. And coming on the show in a little bit will be star goaltender for North Smithfield. It's going to be Ethan Cote. He had himself a hell of a year, really holding it down for North Smithfield coming down to the end. And he ended up with one of the highest save percentages in the state. He actually led his respected division at Division II with save percentage. I believe it was over a 931, I believe. So that's some of the best numbers we've seen. And in high school, to be anywhere over that is just crazy to see.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just his numbers speak for himself. I can imagine multi-sport athlete going to college for lacrosse. Yeah, it's probably nothing new to him. He knows his ability. He knows how to play. He was just rolling with it.
Yes, and that's what we're going to be doing. As right now, quickly jump into RI hockey. We have great line of games, like I was just saying earlier. Cranston West trying to continue the perfect season that they have. However, they're going off of firing in a very ready North Kingston team, who just came off a huge win over the 7-seed Warwick Co-op team last week. And that game ended up going all through regulation, through 2 overtimes, and then ended with a shootout. So, I mean, not often do you see playoff hockey going all through regulation, then 2 7.5-minute overtime periods, then reach a shootout. I can only imagine the energy that those kids had after winning the shootout and then knowing, boom, there they are. They're going to the state championship to take on the big dogs in the Falcons.
Right. Yeah, of course. That down to that final play, knowing that you're going to go to the state championship game. They're definitely prepared for it. Only the most prepared teams are still in it right now. Am I right? I mean, they got here for a reason. So, yeah, I can only imagine what was running through their heads. Excitement, everything.
Yeah, and then over on the Division I side, we have a great matchup. 2 of the big dogs over at Division I. Most teams did see this at the beginning of the year, predicting this, and it ended up happening. We're going to have Hendricken taking on Mount St. Charles, 2 of the best private schools in the state, battling it out. They face each other at the beginning of the year, ended in a 1-1 tie. That was the only non-win in regulation for Mount St. Charles. So only team to really give them that big bit of effort. I mean, they did have a loss. However, Mount St. Charles, they did drop a game to LaSalle. However, they answered in game 3 with a statement 4-0 victory in regulation that happened just a couple of nights ago. That was Monday night, just happened at Adelard Arena. Great game to be a part of. I was there for that, covering that game. Very physical hockey game, and I'll tell you one thing, the goaltending ability on Mount St. Charles is through the roof, and just the speed. No one really talks about the speed of Mount St. Charles. Listen, they can skate and they can fly on the ice. They can skate with any team, but let's not talk too much on them, as they also got a big hand at task with Hendricken, with also great goaltending play. 2 of the top 3 goaltenders, I'd say possibly in the state, battling out in this 3-game series starting tomorrow night. Hendricken has been on a roll, had a little bit of a shaky start, not being able to close out games in regulation. Now they've been on, I believe, 7 or 8 straight victories. So they have huge momentum going into this, and their goal scoring ability the past couple of weeks has been through the roof.
Yeah, definitely. These two teams both have a long history in hockey with, of course, Mount. My dad always tells me stories. My dad's a Mount alumni. He always tells me stories about, I think it was 27 straight championships for Mount under, and I forgot the great coach's name. Shame on me for that. But yeah, but even like Hendricken, both excellent coaching staffs, both carrying on really like what their school, when you think of these teams, Mount, Hendricken, we all know, every school knows they have a history of dominating in a lot of sports, to probably definitely the top private schools in Rhode Island. Kids go there strictly for sports mostly. I mean, there's a lot for academics. Don't get me wrong here, but I mean, just both teams full of high class performers, both great coaching staffs. We know Hendricken's coach personally. I know he's always ready. He eats, sleeps, breathes hockey. But yeah, it should be a battle. Should be a great game to watch, and can't wait.
That's going to be a great one. And now let's jump sports and jump seasons from winter to spring, as we're getting noticed that for the lacrosse season this upcoming year, they will be adding a 4th division. So no longer will it be D1, 2, 3. It will be 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
So that will definitely make things a lot more competitive in the divisions, as now there were some of the teams in the Division 3 level that were just getting, say, dominated by some of these other teams. Now a division like Division 3 is every single team is competitive and can all compete against each other. And now that's the same saying for Division 4 as well, as now for the Division 4, instead of those teams being the bottom of the pack teams only being able to beat themselves, will now be pretty competitive, as some of the teams that we're hearing rumors about I believe will have big impacts, and it's going to be fun to watch and pretty different, because other than football, there is no other sport in Rhode Island that has 4 divisions, and now lacrosse welcomes that into our IIL. But keeping it with the lacrosse side of things, people that have been following the PLL, that is the Premier Lacrosse League, the professional lacrosse league in the world, there's been some big news recently for one of the teams called the Atlas Lacrosse Club, known for having one of the greatest players of all time, Paul Rabel. I'm sure people who don't even play lacrosse still know the name Paul Rabel.
He's definitely one of the founding fathers of really growing the game. I mean, he's the co-founder of the PLL, so he has that under his belt too. But I mean, back when we started, back in fifth grade, when I started, that was like 2000. I don't know, earlier than maybe 2008, 2000, or maybe that's a while back. Anyway, when we were in like 5th grade, couple like 6-7 years ago, when I first started, Paul Rabel was on everything. I remember walking in the second time around sports. His hats were always on the shelf. It was Paul Rabel this, Paul Rabel that. He definitely shaped the game. I remember watching his YouTube videos. He really signed all these endorsements with like the big brands like Warrior Lacrosse, and signed with, I know he rolls with Red Bull now. But yeah, he's definitely like probably the biggest name lacrosse has ever encountered. But yeah, trading him, Paul, of course, he definitely still trains like a younger guy, definitely still plays like a younger guy. Well, to a certain degree, he's getting up there in age. Age is sadly inevitable for everybody. But maybe Atlas is looking to get like a kind of a rebuild year. What did they get for returning him again?
For trading Paul Rabel, they also gave up the 6th pick in the entry draft. So with the PLL is they have 2 different drafts. They have the entry draft and they have the collegiate draft. What the entry draft is especially for this year with the merger, there's a lot of great lacrosse players out there. And for the merger draft is for some of the players that don't get drafted right out of college, or some players that play maybe overseas or in other leagues such as the MLL, which is the indoor league, or even just club or whatever, can still have an opportunity to play. And then collegiate is obviously just like any other professional sport, like NFL or NBA or hockey or anything, just right out of college or right out of high school or whatever the predicament is, can just go right into that. So what that trade, the details from that one was Paul Rabel and a 6th overall pick in this year's entry draft. In return, they got the 9th pick in the entry draft, so they went back 3 picks. However, they gained the 8th pick in the college draft, which this draft class is loaded with talent. And they also got the Cannons next year's first-round pick for the collegiate draft. So wherever they fall, that will be them from 1 to 8, whatever that is. So it doesn't seem like much for one of the founding fathers, as you say, especially of this generation of lacrosse. However, I believe it was the smart move to make for the Atlas because, like you were saying, Paul's getting up there in age. His points have drastically went down. I mean, I'm pretty sure he only had 1 goal in this short season. So even being able to get the picks that they got were huge. However, this trade that they did make, I do not agree with. They traded away Ryan Brown straight up just for the 11th pick in this college draft. And I don't know. I mean, they're going straight rebuild. I mean, the Paul Rabel one, all right, we could see because he's getting up there in age and whatnot.
Yeah.
But Ryan Brown is to this day, one of the best shooters in the world. He can pick corners and make goaltenders look silly with some of the moves and some of the shots that he's just able to make and create for his team. And only being able to get the 11th pick in the collegiate draft, I don't know what the Atlas were thinking on this one.
Yeah, I don't know either. You know, when you talk about him, he's one of like the most like pinpoint accurate shooters. You watch his highlights. If you just watch the games in general, you know who he is. He's definitely a big player. I agree with you with I don't know where they were going with the 11th pick for him. They definitely I think they got robbed. I think they got robbed on that. But the Atlas Lacrosse Club has to know something that we don't, that us fans do not know, because maybe it is an instant rebuild. But Brown, he's not up there really in age. He's still a young,
he's very young. He just graduated from, it was 2016, I believe 16 or 17. It was one of those seasons he graduated. He did 4 years at John Hopkins. So, I mean, he's very young. He's probably in his mid to late 20s, so he can still move. What we've still seen as he's only improved by every year that we've seen.
Exactly. And, I think they definitely could have, maybe if, I don't know if they were in talks with any other team, they could have probably got some more back for him. But, that's just them. And big news for the big transition from past Super Bowl champion wide receiver for the New England Patriots, Chris Hogan, has declared to enter the PLL draft. So Chris Hogan, for you guys that don't know, played lacrosse at Penn State in college until he made the transition to football about 2 to 3 years into his college career. And now he's leaving football and to get right back into lacrosse. And Chris, I don't know about you, but I think that's probably like a smart move for him, because after the Patriots didn't sign him back, I think he was on the Jets this year. I think the Jets picked him up this year, but you know what? He wasn't. You didn't hear his name. You never heard his name a lot after he left the Patriots. Because on the Patriots, more of like they always distributed the ball to all wide receivers, made sure every player was being used. On the Jets, I don't think Hogan played. I don't think he played too much, or maybe he did play and just never got really any action. But I think going into the PLL, going back to his roots, maybe he gets a chance to make a little more money. Who knows? Maybe in the future he gets a chance to make more money playing lacrosse. He doesn't have to deal with the severe injuries of football. He He doesn't have to worry about being injured for the future. I know that's a big concern. Just in general, it's always been talent of testing when players should retire because obviously there's life after football. You're not going to play football forever, and that just comes with age. So I'm sure his family was very happy with that decision. So yeah, I think it's gonna be good. Plus, he came from Penn State. Penn State, has a history, great lacrosse team right there. Always have been. But yeah, Chris Hogan definitely made the right move, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he was coming down. I mean, he's getting up there in age. I mean, I think he's reaching up to his 30s now. If not, he's 28, 29. But he's one of those players fits in a certain scheme, but then can't do anything else after. I mean, we saw it. He was one of those players in New England that just created plays and he was there in the big moments. And I believe he spent a little bit of time in Carolina, it might have been, and then he ended up with New York. And it just ended up not working out for him in the end. And you were saying with the possibility of making more money. Yes, he could with endorsements and then, but I don't really think it's with the money for him. I mean, he's made his money. He spent a decent career in the NFL and made a living for himself there. Now I think it's more of him just sitting back now, enjoying life, not having to deal with football is almost like a 8-9 month span of training camp all the way to playoffs and whatnot. That's almost year round, where to the PLL, it's mainly mid-spring to just about the end of summer. So I think he gets to go back to his roots, like you were saying, how he's been playing lacrosse longer than football. And he gets to enjoy himself. And I also think this is great for him as well as great for the sport. This is going to bring more attention to the sport.
Right.
As he was already a big name in lacrosse without even playing. Just for him playing at Penn State alone for those couple of years, he was already talked about almost every time the camera was on TV. Now that he's going to be actually playing professional on a professional team, making money, being on NBC and whatever other networks streaming games. I mean, that's just going to be crazy to see someone that we just saw just under a decade ago winning Super Bowls, now in the PLL looking to win championships there.
Right, and he declared for the draft maybe 2.5 weeks ago, and he's already signing all these he's getting sponsored already by Epic Lacrosse. Some of the big brands in the game today. So overall I applaud his decision.
Yeah, but I mean, look like it's going to be it for our first segment. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to bring on our guest, Ethan Cote, later on.
All right, we are back. For you guys just tuning in now, thank you for tuning in to the OSA podcast, Ocean State Athlete Podcast, presented by SFBNRI. Once again, I'm Nico, my good buddy Chris, and we are here to showcase some of the state's best athletes on and off their field and get a little insight about the game that they know and love.
So coming on to the show right now, we got Ethan Cote representing North Smithfield High School, just coming off a great hockey season, not ending the way they expected. However, definitely made a statement being one of those sleeper teams, and we'll have him on the show right now. How's it going, man?
Good. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks for coming on. So, I mean, what's been going on lately? How's things been going with everything?
I mean, it's been rough. We really wanted that state championship, but I mean, it is what it is, and now it's just time to move on, try to focus on lacrosse season.
Big season from North Smithfield in general, as you guys at the beginning of the year were not projected to be as good as you guys were. You guys ended up making a big statement for yourself. I mean, what's your wrap on the season? You guys had a great run.
I mean, coming out of last year, we lost 8 or 9 seniors, and this year we had about 14, 15 kids on our whole roster. So, we definitely weren't really looked at when it came to top teams this year. But I think the team atmosphere, everyone really got along together. We really worked as a team, and I think we came out and showed everyone what we could do because we believed in ourselves and we know what we could do.
Definitely.
Yeah, you guys had a great run, like I was saying, and you personally, wow. All I can say is you had a great season in net, great save percentage. What was your goal for that whole going into all this and whatnot? Like, that was awesome what you guys did as a team and even yourself. You must be proud of yourself for what you guys were able to do and yourself personally.
Yeah, definitely. Coming into the season, I wasn't even sure if I was going to start or not. So that was kind of my main focus was, go to practice, put everything on the ice I can. And, I started playing hockey in my freshman year. So, I was really behind most of the guys. So I really try to put in the effort. And this year I really try to hunker down and really give it all my attention since, everything was canceled. So I had no lacrosse or anything to play. So if there's any time to hunker down, it's now. And I just gave it everything I had. And I think the work really showed in the season. So now I'm pretty proud of myself for that.
Definitely. And, we asked the same thing to everybody. What was running through your head the minute you guys found out that a hockey season was actually going to take place this year?
It wasn't really much words. It was mostly just a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
Playing hockey for 3 years, never missing a practice. Always we have 5 a.m. practices. So if I had to give it up my last year and not be able to play the sport, that's kind of kept me sane throughout high school.
Yeah, definitely.
It really would have been a bugger. So kind of it's just more of a relief than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great. And one of the also another questions that we've asked a lot of the hockey guys, especially on the show, is dealing with the masks and being a goaltender. How was dealing with a mask throughout the whole season?
I had a little bit of advantage than the other guys because I played soccer in the fall, so I had already had a little bit of practice with it. So, I try to find ways. I adjust it different ways every practice, trying to get like the perfect fit. And It took a little while for me to get comfortable with it under the mask, just because it pushed it right onto your mouth. But it's definitely weird. Sometimes even when it would slip off, it'd feel weird because it wasn't on at the end of the season. And when I put it back on, I feel like I was in my mask. It just kind of became second nature at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having to deal with all those masks and whatnot, it sucked. But at the end of the year, at least you got to have some sort of a season. And I know yourself had a great year. Being one of the goalie of the year candidates it's great to have. And more impressive is being such a late starter to hockey. That's just crazy to think that you can go from just starting your freshman year to now looking back at the end of your career, only playing 4 years and being one of the top goaltenders in the state is remarkable.
Yeah, well, I really started playing hockey because of my brother. When I came in my freshman year, we weren't sure if we were going to have a goalie or not. So I just came in kind of like, well, I'll give it a shot. My brother played. He played at one of the top levels you could play at. So I was like, if anyone can learn it, I've been around it my whole life. So I guess I can give it a shot. And then I came in my freshman year. Another goalie actually decided to come in. So I was the backup for 3 years. So, it kind of gave me a little bit of an irking to come out and take my shot my senior year. And I did what I could.
Right. There's no better way to get it going than your senior year. It's last ride. Last year we had last year. Yeah, we had last year.
Yeah.
But senior, especially you being a multi-sport athlete, and just to know that a season's actually going to take place is just how you said it perfectly. Just a relief, a breath of fresh air. But yeah. So now that hockey's over, you're looking more towards lacrosse. I know. And so any early predictions or anything for the team? I know you probably have high hopes. You're ready to get out there. I know the rest of the guys definitely ready to get out there.
Yeah, well, it's a little weird this year because we did get bumped down to D4, which is a little unfortunate. but it is what it is, and it gives us the best shot possible. So,
Mhm.
I know a lot of the guys are really excited, which really hasn't happened much in my high school career. We have most of the hockey guys on our team, and they're mostly just hockey guys. But I think now that they realize that hockey's over, I mean, this is the last thing they have, they're excited to get out there and play. So, I think we'll be all right this year. It just depends how much we want it. We're not playing the best teams or the best division, but if we were one of the best teams, we wouldn't be in this division either. So,
Right.
Yeah, and I know that even being in Division 4, I mean, that speaks for itself. I mean, it sucks that you guys are there, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But let's not look past the fact that even playing for a school like North Smithfield, which isn't like the most skilled, I'd say, in lacrosse compared to some of the other sports at the school, still committing and playing Division 2 lacrosse. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. And what was one of your deciding factors to commit to Franklin Pierce?
I think the main thing was Franklin Pierce is a very small school in a really small town in lower New Hampshire. And it kind of just felt like I was in North Smithfield, and I kind of just wanted that home atmosphere. I've always been really close to my parents and my family. So having a place that really felt like home and, really just encaptured like how I live was really important to me. I also really like the program. All the coaches are amazing. Great facilities. I mean, it was really a no-brainer in my eyes.
Sounds good. And we know that you play for the Rhode Island Bulldogs. Yeah, how long have you been with them for?
I started playing with them at the end of my freshman year.
Gotcha. And that's probably one of the best like side programs you can get into, the RI Bulldogs. Obviously the coaching staff is unbelievable. The level of play, the level of talent that partake in that program. How has Bulldogs just in general helped you, more like shaped you as a lacrosse player?
I mean, Bulldogs have taught me everything I know. I owe everything that I know to Cote O'Donnell and the rest of the coaching staff. They've taught me everything. I started playing lacrosse in 8th grade as well. So I really, I started playing Burrville Rec, and then I moved to the Bulldogs the year after because I felt like if I wanted to do this, I want to do it right. And there's no better place to go than the Bulldogs, I think.
Definitely.
It's really like a personal atmosphere. You get really close to the team and the coaches. They all know you by name. They all respect you. They all come and talk to you whenever you need it. I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am today without any other team, I don't think. So if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in a position to commit or even be the captain of our high school team at all. So
It's actually kind of funny that I actually started my 8th grade year too, and it looks like we probably ended up bumping paths as Cranston played Barville quite a bit back in 8th grade, so that's kind of fun. But talking now lacrosse, let's get a little deeper into it. I know that you are using this as one of your opportunities and gateways to getting into Franklin Pierce University. What does lacrosse mean to you as a whole?
I mean, lacrosse is the sport that, you pick up the stick and you just feel better. 100% lacrosse is the reason why, I've stuck with school as much as I have, really focusing on my grades because, I want to take it to the next level. And I know without lacrosse, without school, I wouldn't have lacrosse. So it's kind of finding the balance. So, it really motivates me to do better in all aspects of life. And, I wouldn't be anywhere. Like, I wouldn't be the person I am today without, finding the sport. And it stinks it was a little late, but, I've put countless hours into it, and just keeps me sane, I like to say.
Mm-hmm. Right. And, you mentioned Coach Cote O'Donnell. Any other coaches along the way, like ring your mind that really helped you or you just really enjoyed playing for?
Coach Barrett was the coach of my specific team when I was on the Bulldogs. He's also the assistant coach at Assumption, which is a team that I'm actually going to play when I'm at Franklin Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be really fun. Another one's definitely my dad. He's assistant coach at the high school, so he's always motivated me. He's always been the one to yell at me to go get on the wall or go shoot outside.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely been a driving force behind that as well. I mean, all the coaches I've had have always been, really supportive and really motivating, and I can't thank them enough for that.
That's awesome to see. And seeing that you were like more of a late bloomer for both hockey and lacrosse, both starting late. And that's crazy that you ended up the careers that you did with both respected sports. But one of the questions I have is, being from a smaller school from North Smithfield, how did the guys from the Bulldogs really take you in, being that all those Bulldogs teams are all like the big dogs, like LaSalle, you got like North Attleboro, Hendrick, and you got all those kids. How did they really take you in as being a small North Smithfield kid?
That question's a little tricky. So at first, I wasn't really taken in as well. A lot of guys would mess with me just because I wasn't the most talented on the team. I came from a tiny school and a Burrville rec team, which doesn't happen often with the Bulldogs. It's mostly kids that are transferring in to go to LaSalle or Hendricken or any of those other D1 schools. But really as time went on, they really started to realize that I could keep up with them. I'd say later into my sophomore year, they really started to take me in as a family. I love all the guys on the team. We stuck together for the last 4 years, and they still mess with me every once in a while. My nickname's still D3 from the Bulldogs, so still give me a little chirp when they can, but all in good fun. So
that's awesome. That's good to see a little bit of friendly bantering. And now talking more about like high school and being from North Smithfield, how does it really like feel to you that you're from such a small school and being able to accomplish the things that you do for not only yourself but your team and your city?
I mean, it feels weird because I grew up in a big town. I'm originally from here, but I lived in South Carolina and Tennessee when I was younger. So I grew up in schools with thousands of people, but all through high school I've always been here. And it's such a different atmosphere. I remember going to football games when I was a little kid, and there'd be thousands of people in the stands. But now when I come to our hockey games, we get lucky if there's 30 without COVID protocols. So it definitely shows me that anybody can do it. You don't really need a big school. You don't need amazing coaching staff. I mean, that does help, but it's all just in your head. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. And I try to spread that as much as I can throughout the school and the town. Try to get other people involved with sports. So it definitely does feel weird to think that from North Smithfield I was able to commit to a Division II college.
Right. And do you know what your plans are after like your lacrosse in college? Like, do you know what you plan on studying or anything?
So I'm going into college. I'm going to study health sciences, hoping to either then go to a 2-year program for nursing or physician's assistant. I mean, that's not 100% set in stone, but that's my ideal plan for now.
Right.
Just kind of see where the road takes me at this point.
Definitely. All right, but we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back for our last segment with Ethan Cote. All right, we are back. Thank you for tuning into the OSA podcast, Ocean State Athlete Podcast, presented by SFBNRI. I'm Nico. My co-host, a good buddy, Chris. We are here with Ethan Cote from North Smithfield. All right, Ethan, our last segment is kind of just like our, we call it our lightning round questions, just 10 questions that just to get everybody at home to know you a little bit more. So our first question, the fan favorite, is your go-to gas station snack.
Go-to gas. Oh, that's a tricky one. Honestly, probably some salt and vinegar Pringles.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Now, the leads to the next question is your favorite thing to drink besides water.
Oh, some Arnold Palmer lemon and iced tea.
Oh, we had Matt say that 2 weeks ago on this show. Next one would be, if you could have dinner with anyone in the world right now, who would it be?
I probably Will Ferrell, because I feel like he'd just make it a good time.
Yeah, right. How about someone that's dead?
Dead. Ooh. Wayne Grant. He's alive. Wow. Kobe, probably.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Our next one is your favorite fast food place.
Burger King, 100%.
Definitely best chicken nuggets at Burger King. Next question is your favorite TV show, and if you don't watch TV, then like your favorite movie.
Favorite movie, definitely Step Brothers. Favorite TV show is honestly right now it's The Big Bang Theory.
I've never watched The Big Bang Theory, but I've heard it's pretty good.
Been around for a while.
Right. The next one is your favorite pro athlete.
Pro athlete, Jordan Wolf, or for hockey, Marc-Andre Fleury.
Like 2 great picks.
Marc-Andre, one of the best to do it right now.
Yeah, all time.
And Jordan Wolf.
Yeah.
Next one is, what do you value most in life?
Definitely family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wouldn't be around if it wasn't for family, so I kind of owe them everything.
Right. It's a great answer. If you could eat one food and not gain any weight from it, what would you eat?
Probably a big plate of hibachi chicken.
Oof. Right. I agree. Which event in your life would you want to live through again?
Oh, that's a really good question. Probably my first lacrosse tournament win. Just because that's kind of what clicked in my mind. Like, this is what I want to do for a while.
Nice. And our last one is your favorite place to travel. You could pick where you have been already, and then you could pick like where you would like to travel to.
Where I have been is Dallas.
Really?
That's a great place. And where I want to go is Greece.
Greece. It's a different one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the OSA questions. Chris, you have anything else?
Nothing else. I mean, I'd like to congratulate you on a great hockey season. Hopefully to see you for the All-Star game.
Yeah.
We have coming up soon. And for the people that don't know, RWIL is doing a great thing for the Division I and Division II teams. They're having an outdoor All-Star game that will be held at one of the rinks over in Westerly outdoors. So, I mean, that's just going to be awesome. And I also want to say good luck for you on this lacrosse season. And then after high school, going over to Franklin Pierce, I wish you best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats, Ethan, and best of luck to you in your future.
Thank you. And good luck at Dean as well.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for taking your time.
No problem. Anytime.
All right, so as that wraps up our show, once again, I am Nico. There's my co-host and good buddy, Chris. This is the OSA podcast, Ocean State Athlete Podcast, presented by SFBNRI. And we will be back every Thursday night from 9 to 10 with a new guest, talking new topics. Chris, anything else?
Yeah, if anyone wondering at home, a little bit of a confusion with the guest tonight, so we're only able to bring one on. That's why it's for the shorter show. However, made the best out of it. I mean, we still had a great show. I mean, Ethan, Cote, great kid. I mean, just recently started talking to him, man. I already consider him one of my good friends, a good kid. I mean, hardworking as we can see. I mean, coming from such a small school, making it all the way to such a school like Franklin Pierce, which is known for lacrosse, which has a great program, which is just great to see. And that's about it. I mean, make sure you follow RI Hockey on Instagram. Lots of big things coming.
Big week coming up.
lots of big things coming up as soon as this hockey season wraps up. But that's going to about do it. Make sure you follow all of our socials, OSA Podcast on Instagram, as well as SFBNRI on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And other than that, Nico, close us off.
All right. That's it for us. We'll see you next Thursday at 9. Thanks for tuning in.
See you guys.